is Wine Wednesday. It's Wine Wednesday and it's time to do some racking today. Okay, so here is where we're at. If you have been following along, I have, well, quite a few varieties going right now, but choke cherry and pumpkin are what need to be still worked on instead of just sitting and waiting to be bottled in, like 6 months, okay? So the choke cherry, I had 2 5-gallon things of choke cherry. One I have moved already, and here is what's left. Remember when I said that it cannot really sit on that yeast? We call that like yuck. I don't know if there's a formal word for it or not, but you don't want it sitting on that because it can kind of pick up a off taste. So we want to move that, okay? So this particular batch we started at the very end of September, and we started at a very high specific gravity. As it ferments, that specific gravity gets low, which is what we want, so we get an appropriate alcohol content. We are running probably about 13.5% on this choke cherry right now, and then we moved it in mid-October, and now I'm moving it again. So that means we took it out of this one, we siphoned it into a clean one that I have sterilized, and then we just let it sit. We airlock it again and let it sit. So with that being said, we're gonna get this one started now. And then, yeah, it's just kind of like moving from one glassware to another until we get everything ready to just sit and airlock again, and then we wait. So that is where we're at with this choke cherry right now. And then I need to do the same thing with pumpkin because that is still fermenting in the bucket, okay? All right, we are back. So we've got one choke cherry moved. We are in process of moving the second, and it's almost done now. So I'm just gonna tilt my bucket a little, and this was stuff that I racked into this bucket, so this is clean. I'm not like taking any yeast off the bottom. I already did that, and we have dumped it all. And then I've got my pumpkin down here, and we're gonna do the same thing with the pumpkin. So once I get them into these carboys now, I do want to make up the difference of that space in water because you don't want a whole lot of air space in these carboys, okay? And then we're just gonna airlock them again. I'm gonna put a Camden tablet, 1 per gallon, and crush them up and put them back in the carboys because that helps, like I've said before, to keep it sterilized so you don't get any funky stuff growing in there, because you certainly don't want that after all the work you went through in harvesting fruit and all the prep work. You don't want to ruin it, okay? So yeah, this is almost done. Then we're just gonna move the pumpkin into a clean one. We make little notes on our sticky notes. That is my professional homebrew tip for you. Keep notes on your sticky notes on when you did stuff and what your specific gravity readings were when it was applicable. Can you hear that? We're down to nothing. So that's it. We are good to go. And we're going to continue on here. And when it's time to bottle, because that'll be the next step, I have rhubarb that we started back in May. So the 6 months will be coming here at the end of the month. So if I get around to it, it'll be around Thanksgiving time that'll be ready to bottle. And yeah, that is the next process. That's the next step in all this. So thanks for hanging in there with me. Yeah, I hope you're learning something. I hope I'm inspiring you again to get on board with this. And remember what the main ingredient is when you get a bottle of homemade wine. What is it? It's love. The main ingredient is love. Okay, so enjoy it if you get a bottle of homemade wine because the main ingredient is always love.